to have the Pledge of Allegiance, please, if we could all stand. We'll do that. Hang on. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd like to call the meeting order at 6:31 by that clock. And the first item is Attorney Alan Zadonis, Henry, Chapter 61, and O'Connor. And there are two original forms in the signature folder, which I think is over there. Sure, you will. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. How you doing? Nice to see you. Hello, Ann. How are you?
Alan J. Zadonis. There's one. So it says here, motion to pass on right of first refusal, of course, at December the 7th. And that was John. Do you know who that was? PB, no, well. Somebody motioned to
John
pass.
Furman. It went to the planning board, then conservation, and they both signed off on it.
Okay, thanks. All righty. Just looking for the two signature pages here. Gee. Okay, so do you have
I
anything
have
to
just
bring
one
forward?
bit of information. Alex Lewinsky, the prospective purchaser, if you release the lien and he's able to buy the property, wants to put it into a corporation which he controls for tax purposes. That was the only purpose. This is land that abuts his house that he has the adjoining lot. I believe he's in lot number 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's the parcel just adjacent to it.
So the corporation can hold that property in fee and it doesn't change
Right.
anything else?
Right. The attorney made that request.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? The motion's been made and approved. Sorry, yeah. You got that to exercise their right of first refusal by not exercising. With respect to this particular property, any further discussions?
None here.
Who's in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'm still looking for the second signature page. Am I right on that?
It should be right here.
I know.
The two pink tabs.
Yep. Okay. Got it. It says renewal certification. The pink one. Oh, that's naughty. Quit claim.
Looks like there's two tabs.
Yep, we'll get there. Signed in the presence of. Okay, here's one. One for you. No, take this one. Pass it over to Doug and we'll be all set. Here you go, Doug.
Thank you, sir.
I've got another matter, not related to this. My daughter asked me to do an errand. The gun property, they had less than 5 acres, so no longer qualifies for chapter. They entered into an agreement with Mr. Boyle to buy the 3 lots that remain, and he doesn't want to buy them all at once. So I'm wondering if we could submit a request for a waiver on 1 lot. And in that purchase and sale, there'd be an option to buy 2 more and get a release of those lots. Is that how you handle something like that? Or do you want a separate request for each lot?
My understanding, Alan, is 61A, excuse me, is that 5 acres has to remain, right, of whatever they, once they take things out of the initial parcel. So if we leave less than 5, aren't we in violation of Mass General Law?
My understanding was you had to have 5 acres to stay in chapter.
Right, right.
So they no longer have 5 acres.
Right.
So now they're taking it out, but they wish to sell it, but I think there's still a provision that allows you to exercise your right of first refusal within a certain amount of time on that land that was in chapter.
My concern would be that it's not eligible for chapter, because that was my understanding
Well,
from
yeah.
years ago on the planning board, was that you had to have that 5-acre minimum.
Right.
That's what I was saying.
Right, and what I'm saying is they understand that they are no longer eligible, but
Right.
the new general law, I think, provides you still with the right of first refusal
Okay.
for a certain period of time on those remaining lots.
Right.
So now they're trying to sell, they've got an agreement to sell one of the 3 lots, which they will need a right of first refusal waiver on, because, in other words, you can't take it out of chapter and then sell it. That was always an issue.
Right.
So I believe there's a recapture period within which time you have to still have the right of first refusal on that land that was in there.
Sure.
So what I'm asking is, do you want us to submit, or I should say my daughter to submit on behalf of the Guns, each of those lots separately? Or could we do it as just one, because it's one agreement with Mr. Boyle?
My sense, if there's one agreement that supports it, that would work. As long as we're not, again, my concern is we're not validating something that's in violation of 61A.
I don't think you are. I
That's my
think we
concern.
have to offer it to you.
Right.
Because since it no longer qualifies, there's still a recapture period.
Yeah.
So I think, my feeling is probably the first one will go initially within a couple of months, and the next one may not go until next fall. And the one after that, I think, will be outside the period anyway. But
Okay, I make a motion to approve as long as it's legal and within the period of time.
okay.
That's
right.
fair.
Okay.
Yeah, subject to
So we'll
those
submit it-
constraints.
I'll have her submit it as one agreement, because the Attorney Jakovic, who represents Mr. Boyle, was concerned that you wanted to obviously get your waiver, which you have, under the, even though it was taken out, it no longer is eligible for that tax treatment, you still have the right under the statute to exercise the right of first refusal.
Okay. The funny thing is, if memory serves, I thought I asked the Guns if there were still 5 acres, and they said there were, so.
I think there was up until the last one.
Okay.
But the surveyor has told them they're no longer eligible, so
Okay,
yeah, they'll be paying the rollback taxes and any of
good news for the town.
that. And no snow, that's more good news.
True,
Thank you.
it's happy. Thank you, Al, good to see you.
Do we need a second and an approval on that?
Yeah, I'm sorry, do we need a second to go ahead and let them submit, subject to legalities and procedure?
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye, you got it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we have that, okay. And the next item is Mr. Cawley, Highway Superintendent, and Donna Whiteley, Treasurer Collector, regarding some bonds. It's warm in here.
Look at the haircut. Oh my God.
Making a lot of people happy.
Holy mackerel. Congratulations, Michael.
This is my Easter haircut. I've been told.
Nice to see you.
Glad to see you. Thank you for your.
We are all set. I read through the Pat Cantor's opinion on going forward with this, as asking the town for approval for the bond issue.
Pat Cantor and Peter Fraser.
Pat signed off on one, Pat Cantor.
No, that's a separate item. They're here for something different. This is, yeah.
What it is we have, the water department has
Oh, okay, different bonds.
2 farmers home loans we received 20 years ago. And there's still 20 years roughly left on them. And their interest rates are, one is 5.62 and the other one is 5.37. And what we want to restructure them. Looking at it the last couple of years to try to work with Donna and talk to Peter Fraser about this. And by restructuring, we can save roughly $123,000 over the remaining life of the loan by refinancing with them for roughly just a hair over 4%. just a little over 4%. And that will realize the water users a savings of roughly $123,000 over the next 20 years. To stay with those higher costs. So with that in mind, we went forward, mostly John and I talked to Peter Fraser about putting this together. And what we need to do is we need a vote from the board, which is covered in here. You see the vote that needs to be taken to allow us to proceed to restructure the note. And after all the paperwork is done, a document will be put in front of you with the final percentage point at that particular time, because the market is up and down a little bit.
Sure.
And once that's signed, not tonight, because we're only looking for the vote to proceed to get that, the board will sign it and we will restructure the note according to what the bond is at that point.
What do you hope to, what interest rate do you hope to get?
We're hoping to get to 4%.
And you have right now,
Well,
what is it?
It actually starts off, it's not the same every year.
It's an average of 4%.
Average.
But it starts off at 2% for the next couple of years, and then it goes up over time. But it's still lower than what we're paying now.
What are we paying now?
Well,
5.75 to 1, 5.37 for another.
So this had been a 40-year loan and we're 20 years into it?
This is a farmer's home note, which is a USDA. And at the time, it was very advantageous because 20 years the notes were much higher, and this was a very low rate. Farmer's Home allows us to buy out anytime, where our other notes we can't buy out.
Well, how much
There
is,
are other notes that we have that
how much is still owed on these?
probably just under $1 million.
We can't raid the cookie jar and pay them off. And
No, we don't have that right now.
We don't even have crumbs in that jar.
Wishful thinking,
And
wishful thinking.
what do the town bonds support? I mean, what,
2 big water projects we did.
oh, 2 water projects? Oh, okay.
New water tank with an extension and another extension of the water service down Palmer Meadow and all related streets down there. And that's what the 2 bonds supported.
Sounds like a pretty smart idea.
It doesn't seem like any
Structure.
thought should be given to this move to go forward with the warrant article to, or what do you need us
You're
to
gonna have to
Just a
read
select
this-
board
You're gonna have to
vote.
read this vote and vote on it.
read?
It's not to a town meeting or anything, it's just a select board vote.
You have to read this. We've already issued the bonds to the town vote, which is restructuring.
So we have to put this in the record?
Yes.
That in order to reduce interest costs, the treasurer is authorized to provide for the sale of issuance of bonds under GL Chapter 44, Section 21A, to refund all or part or any portion of the remaining principal of and redemption premium and interest on the town's Farmers Home Administration loans dated April 6, my birthday, 1995, and October 1st, 1997, and that for this purpose, the treasurer is authorized to provide for the preparation and distribution of a preliminary official statement, provided, however, that no bond shall be issued under this vote unless and until the final interest rates and other terms of refunding the bonds are approved by this board.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion with respect to the motion that's been made and seconded on the refinancing?
That's a smart idea.
Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? You got it.
So, you know, it'll come back, Don will
Right.
have documents, I'll be with her.
Yeah.
We'll present the documents once bond council finishes all the paperwork and gets approval for the bonds. And then we'll have the exact percentage points established at that point when we sign, or you sign.
Ed, how did this work? The board takes out the town takes out the loans, but the
Water commissioners are obligated to take care of the debt service as part of the enterprise fund. But the town, on any bond for any department, is the guarantee. Okay.
and you obviously you don't have any kind of reserve account that we could pay these.
We in the reserve, there's probably, I don't know, I'm waiting for some numbers, but we've got a couple $100,000.
Not enough to.
No. No.
Be nice to save more than the 100,000.
We'll entertain that.
Pay it down a little bit. Would they be better off? And this is your purview, but would they be better off charging a slightly higher water rate to pay these down sooner?
Well, we've been fortunate that We've been keeping the rates pretty steady for the last 15 years. 10 years, I'm sorry, the last 10 years. We've been getting new growth and expansion, and that has been picking up any inflation or any increases that we have. And I like to keep it that way. This will help us maintain that because it's roughly almost $6,800 to $7,000 a year that we're not being charged of on average. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. The other two notes that we have are water pollution abatement trust. And I wouldn't want to pay those off because we're only paying back in principal about 95% on the dollar with zero interest loans on those.
Those are those things that come up every year.
Yeah, but right now they're all 2%.
I mean, we should look at, and this brings up another issue, whether the town has any other
Well,
bonds or loans out there that we should look at refinancing down.
There really isn't because there's a prepayment penalty on most of our bond issues. But I did receive some information that for the school building assistance, we get $243,000 a year for the North School project. There's only a couple years left on that.
Right.
But if we request a discounted lump sum payment from them for the next 2 years that they owe for that from the state, and we prepay that to principal in May when we make our next payment, it will save in fiscal 12, or fiscal 13, and fiscal
14.
Am I
You're right.
12 and 13.
12 and
I
13.
believe it was 12 and 13.
Anyway, we'll save $22,500 by doing that. So I'm pursuing that way.
What do we have, just out of curiosity, I don't think I know what we owe, what we have out in bonds or loans or,
You got
The library, the school.
You have two farmers home at the water department. And you have 2 water pollution abatement trusts. Those 4 is that. You have 1 water pollution abatement trust at the transfer station. You have the library. You have
the Norris?
hall.
Well, this would be, assumedly be at a,
Two fountains.
yeah, but there'd assumedly be a fairly low rate on this one because,
Right now there is, right?
yeah.
Started off. low.
But I mean, it's even some of the ones with the higher, even the prepayment may be less than, if we renegotiated them, if the rates are high enough.
Yeah. Well, I asked them to look at all of our stuff.
But I mean, the school must have, what, 2 more years left?
2 more years.
The library's got to be almost done.
Same pattern, same year.
Same year?
So didn't he say there was a penalty on that one? Or was that, can that be paid off too?
I think he said, I think the 2 that he looked at and the school were the only ones that we could.
Because he was talking about the library and the school, I thought.
Because usually the prepayment is not out this far. I mean, I'm not no expert on them, but usually it,
But I mean,
Well,
she's
no,
already-
I called him today when he's on vacation.
Right.
So I didn't get a chance to touch base with him.
but I mean, 18 years out, it seems like the prepayment would be almost negligible. Just thought.
Good one. Thanks very much for looking
Here's
into
your
this.
papers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll talk to Reggie when we have the other stuff done.
No snow tonight, huh?
Just ice.
Yeah. Just clean your catch basins. It's pouring out there right now.
Doing that. Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you,
Okay,
Donna.
moving down the agenda then, approval of minutes, we have nothing at this time. Signatures, and would you read?
We have a payroll warrant, number P12-25, for the amount of $219,574.74.
Move to approve.
Second.
In favor?
Aye. We also have a bill warrant, number W12-26, for the amount of $154,485.87.
Move to approve.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. PCFs, interim town administrator and library, PCFs and PRFs,
They are still with the Finance Committee.
okay,
It's with the Finance Committee.
thank you.
But did we,
Pretty good.
this is, on that, Reggie, didn't we take a conditional vote on that?
Conditional voter on the signature.
we need to sign.
Need to sign her.
Yeah, on yours, the PQB agreed to conditionally on ours, so, I don't know, what you don't have it though, huh?
Finance
So
committee.
I move that we sign, or authorize Jess to sign the PCF when we find out where it is.
Second. Those, would you care to ask for those in favor? Or does it matter? No.
No.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I guess I can't authorize myself.
When you find it.
Yeah, where is it?
Somewhere, I know we did it the other night.
Oh,
We did 2 weeks ago.
Weeks ago.
okay, nothing at this time for one-day licenses.
Oh, can we,
Go ahead.
question on that, how did we make out when we sent them over to the chief? Did he approve those 2 a.m. closings? Okay. Just so we know what's going on.
Was that the New Year's?
Yes.
Yeah, New Year's. Just so we know.
I'm sorry, I missed the library too. Is there something we need to
That one is still with the finance.
Okay. The one-day license is nothing at this time, but I do have these here, these meaning this is the December 31st, so these are technically one-day
Those are
licenses.
the entertainment licenses that were missed. And then you also have the ABCC form. That's what I sent to them, stating that you guys reviewed the whole packages.
We missed some of those out of that big pile, that big stack.
Well, we skipped 2 because they hadn't been inspected. These aren't those.
Those are not those.
Maybe I shouldn't ask this question, but what's the live entertainment licenses?
When they have bands, like,
Oh, is it bands? Just asking.
Sometimes you don't want to ask.
Euphemism for other things.
Okay, so we're having a good time tonight, moving right down. So we do these later than Reggie, is that live entertainment? Okay, all that in the ABCC. Moving down, we now have then town owner agreements with PVPC, nothing at this time, similarly with housing needs assessment. So now we're down to elevator maintenance contract.
Ed
Always
had
a
a
favorite.
chance, Ed had a chance to review the contracts and the elevator himself, and your recommendation.
I'm in agreement with the contract.
Well, which one level of service, 12, 17, or 21?
The 17 is the one that has the six inspections, 6 where they come in and look at it.
Well, there's one just for the
Just the straight,
elevator.
that's
permit
1,200.
With the state, that's
Yeah.
1,200. The permit, the licensing, I think is $600 just for that alone. All right?
I didn't see that in there. I
Yeah,
looked,
I think the license is $600. You have to send them a check for $600 and then the inspection that goes with it. The other one, it has to do with use, Mike. And, I mean, Reggie's in the building more than I am, but I don't know how much is being used. If we've got an inspection in there 6 times a year, I think that's a lot of use. And she would be a better judge of that, but to me, I think that's overkill.
6 times a year.
Yeah, but I don't know if they offer anything less than that.
they do.
One examination.
Well, I don't know what examination,
But the elevator is,
examination wouldn't be bad.
We got 1 or 6.
the elevator is being used daily,
Yeah, but
often.
Compared to what? It doesn't mean.
I don't know what to compare it
What
to.
I'm saying, is it being used every 5 minutes?
It depends on who's on it.
Well,
It is.
We should hang a sign on it for healthy living, use the stairs.
How often it's being used? I think six inspections a year to grease it and set it up. You know, how many, there's no hour meter on it, I know there's
No,
not.
there isn't.
So I wouldn't tell you how often it's being used.
Right.
But if it's being used 10 times a day, I think that's low.
Yeah.
If it's used 25 times or 35 times a day, I think is average.
I mean, the only people upstairs are the accounting
And
and
we're only talking.
veterans agents, so there's 3 people up there,
But he has people that come up to see him, the
the
veterans
veterans.
agent.
Because maybe he has 5, does he have 5 appointments a day?
I don't know.
5 up and 5,
I mean, there's another question here is, if we're paying a lot of extra services, and I don't mean to get off the subject, I think these veterans should get everything done. But we have 4 of the towns sharing these costs, we're not sharing our
overhead.
costs of maintaining
Our overhead.
his offices and the use of our electricity and everything else. And if we're having all this usage dedicated to that, there should be some compensation or consideration by the other towns to help us out here.
Well, it still comes down to, do we want one basic inspection service or 1,700 for 6?
There's a
But
$500 difference.
$500 difference gets us, and they don't enumerate this in the $1,200 inspection. The $1,200 just says annual inspection.
That goes with a permit, Mike, and that's committed to the state with the permitting.
But my point is, the next one says it includes greasing or cleaning, oiling of the machine, motor, interlocks, controller, greasing and oil of the guide. You know,
Right, that's 6 per year. The original document over here I have, because there's 3 different proposals.
Right.
in that
but
file.
do we get any of that in the one inspection, or do?
No, this is the one inspection, and it provides for,
Inspection strictly
Inspection, so we really have to have some level of maintenance service.
I think this one for $1,700 is
the only
good.
choice.
You know what we can do? We can monitor it. If we're having more problems, then we could say we should move it. Move it up.
Don't get me wrong, if you have a failure, that's extra on top of it.
Yeah, no, that's,
Okay? I mean, just because you got the grease pouring out of it, we don't need to throw grease in it.
no.
It's like a piece of equipment, you know, you should grease it all the time, but it hasn't moved, you shouldn't keep putting grease in it. You know, that's why I'm saying we need to monitor this thing.
So do we put a little thing on the thing and ask them to put a hash mark every time they use the elevator?
No, I don't mean it that way.
I mean, to get an idea of the count.
We use it a lot, yes, but if we don't need this 6 times a year, we're paying for it.
But our choices are, under the first one, they don't do anything for us other than the inspection. Under the second one, we get theoretically, we get some grease and oil and,
And then here,
Some adjustment.
But I think all they're doing is checking the operations of the grease.
well, for $500, I guess, for the first time, go around, buy the better, and then try and get
That's
it.
only a 1-year agreement, am I right?
let me check and see here. It's, I believe it's 3 years. Continue with 3 years.
I mean,
But let's see if there's an exit clause.
well, here's the other thing. Master maintenance service, whatever that is, goes up every year, which makes me nervous that they expect that there's going to be
Party at least 90 days written notice.
breakdowns.
They have
Beyond of any
longevity on each piece of equipment.
Either party may
Yeah, but it goes up by almost
The first year, so you have to.
20% by the end of the 5th year. So you can figure your repair is going to come,
I don't think you have the money in your budget for it either.
no. These
No,
are,
I'm talking about even this contract.
no, this is the kind of stuff that,
Well, there's a lot of things that we don't have money. You've got your air duct cleaning, you've got your your
thought you were gonna say
sprinklers.
Friolator.
I know, sorry.
I thought you were, where's the fryer layer hidden?
There's a lot of things that I don't think anybody anticipated
No,
with this building, to be honest with you.
No, we didn't. We did not.
Well, you had them to an extent in the other building, you just weren't being done.
We were ignoring the other building.
Right.
Do we have to have that elevator to comply with ADA?
Well, and then you can't go on the second floor.
Yeah. I mean, the other alternative, you move everybody downstairs and,
Well, you don't have that luxury, do you anymore? No.
I move that we,
You need the elevator, I mean, and I'm not saying let's be Pennywise pound.
No.
But
we need to get a handle on,
cost that we need to start thinking about. We don't have money to pay for it.
no.
So you gotta put it on somebody's radar screen, namely the finance committee, that you're gonna need this and a few other things.
Right.
And we've been living off the warranties on several items, but another thing that's gonna come up in budget is fire extinguishers. Testing all your ADA approved emergency stations.
I move that we do the $1,700 examination and lubrication service for at least a 1 year. Is it a 1 year, did we decide?
It's a 3-year. It says here, will continue, either party may terminate at the end of the first 3-year period or at the end of any subsequent. So it's a 3-year, and there's no exit clause here, there's no,
I can call them up and talk with the person who dropped off the contracts and see.
that
if we
might be a
can-
good idea.
Yeah.
So let's
Yeah, let's
negotiate
get-
an exit clause,
Okay, or just make it a 1-year contract and send it back to them.
I think.
I'll move that we accept a 1-year contract for $1,700 beginning, when did they have that beginning?
January 1st, 2012.
January 1st, 2012, make it a 1-year contract for $1,700. Let's see see if we can get a handle on the service, or how much it's used.
There's another thing that I don't even think is on their radar, or they'll leave next on their radar, is that particular elevator has a sump pump dedicated for its shaft. Now, that's not going to be covered by them.
No.
It's going to be covered by
And do we have somebody who's inspecting that thing to make sure it's right?
You know, monitoring it, but, you know, there's, nobody's paying attention to it. Other than the other 12. Hopefully the janitor will be there, you need to check.
That's, I mean, he's gonna have his,
You check off with
Right.
and then we'll comply with something.
I have a question for Mr. Colley, if I may. In regard to the sump pump, is that in the pit under the elevator? And that would mean that we can't put anybody in there?
No, it's, the pump is offset, it's not in the shaft. It's in the closet in front of the elevator on the basement. There's a little locker in there.
Okay.
It's in there, but the pipes are underneath the floor.
Yeah, okay, so it is legally accessible to us and we can service it?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So Mike, I do have here exactly what they purport to do in these 6 examinations.
yeah, but the question is, they aren't doing any of that for the $1,200.
That's a separate thing, no matter what you gotta do that every year too.
But are we saying it's 1,200 plus
There's
1,700?
2 things you have to do.
Right.
You have to do the inspection once a year
Yeah.
by the state, who comes in
Yeah.
and inspects that. There's a whole litany of things you have to do for him, or have ready for him when he comes. Now, he might not come when you think, but he will come, and those things have to be ready. That's separate from the $1,700.
But is that, so are we saying we're committing to 1,700 and we should be committing to the 1,200 too?
Every year.
So we're talking about $3,900 really that we need.
Plus another 400, because this is the master maintenance service that I'm looking at now, so there are 3 documents. Right, so this is 6 bi-monthly examinations. That should be bi-monthly every 2 months, but anyway, what do they know about English, right? So the current cost of the state test permit is 400, and this one here,
That's a 1,700, right?
no, this is,
The 6
The state inspection included in the 21, or 1,700 one? Or is that another $1,200 on top?
it's included strictly subject to the availability of qualified state elevator inspector.
Well, there are none, so that's pretty,
No, there's 2.
Well-
There's 2 for the state, and try to get more, but there was a big issue about that a year or so ago.
right. Most of the elevators in Springfield haven't been inspected, I don't think.
But that doesn't take us off.
No, no.
We
Yeah,
have
Mike.
a position with our license is ready on an annual basis.
So Mike, why don't I pass these down to you, if you would mind taking a quick look at them? That's what I see, there are 3, there's a master maintenance agreement, there's a lubrication agreement, and then there is the state test.
Can I ask a
Sure.
question of the board? Could you table this? And it just dawned on me that I could probably go up to regional and see how they're doing theirs.
I withdraw my motion.
See if we can find out how they're doing theirs and what frequency they are.
Yeah, that's a good idea to get some
Okay,
local.
and get a comparison.
Well, don't we have an elevator at the Morris?
No.
How do we
Come
get,
on, Mike, you're on the committee.
I know, but how do we get around that?
First
there's
floor.
no elevator.
Even in, so how did we get around ADA on?
Well, is there a second?
Keep on the first floor. I don't know, we don't have an
I
elevator.
don't know.
I don't recall one.
I don't remember where there'd be one. I don't remember that being an issue for us.
How would you pass it all down to?
Maybe today it would be.
Yeah, maybe we didn't have to back then.
You remember, that's almost, what, 18 years ago?
All right, then we'll put these aside for you.
Okay, so do we want to make a motion to table that?
Motion to table.
Until more research is done?
Second?
Second?
In favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Ed, that's a great idea. Okay, moving on to live entertainment licenses. Live entertainment as in bands, singers, comedians, things like that. And the first one
Whatever
here,
Ann thought it was.
subject to opinion. This is Buckwheats, and this is presented by Daniel Hazipetro.
Well, how's Buckwheats having he has a license. He's one of the ones we didn't approve.
Pending inspection, he had the inspection done.
Oh, so we still haven't signed his license.
Yes. They're automatically renewed.
Oh, that's right, too, that's, yeah,
Automatically
okay.
renewed.
ECC. Okay, so this would be then for a fee of $100, a live entertainment license for December 31st. Restrictions, no amplification outside, acoustic only, no music, live entertainment outside after 9 p.m., no music, live entertainment, these will be the same for all. Inside after 11 p.m., noise level of all music and entertainment must be kept at reasonable levels at all times.
Did he get the 2 AM license? Is he one of the licenses that went over to the chief for 2 AM, or no?
He's the
No.
one that is.
Because he's got the only 2 AM license,
No, he's not. There's another one in town.
Tin Can.
Yeah.
So him and Tin Can Alley have,
Not that they use it.
yeah, but he and Tin Can have the automatic 2 AM licenses. So the chief doesn't know that he's planning on having live entertainment
No, he's actually had that,
a number of years, but I think we've had it looked at by the chief every time.
But he said it's closed. He hasn't been open for business.
It's been open for private parties, that we understood anyway. Well, to give you guys the suite of who's there, there's Buckwheats, Camp John Associates, Michael Kressler.
Well, Camp John was here the last time,
he's the one who requested 2 AM.
and we sent that to the chief.
Yes. And that was
Hampton
under-
Recreational, DBA Harley Davidson of Southampton, Paisano's Restaurant and Pub, and Laxios or Southampton Steakhouse. Opa.
And this is for one night, for New Year's. What-
Correct.
What,
No, this is live entertainment when they have bands. Opa at one point in time had a band come in, and they came and asked for a live entertainment license.
So are these one night, one,
Yeah, I was wrong.
This is
I
not the
misquoted.
one night 2 AM request.
no, but this is one night live entertainment, or these
No, this is all year.
all year?
My apologies, I misread that. Yep. So it's a year for all of these folks.
Of live entertainment license.
music?
And if I may say, again, these businesses had this license for a number of years. There has been no complaints.
Really no reason to disapprove them.
Well, and you may not know the history, but Camp John, yeah.
What about Camp John?
No
Where's Camp
complaints.
John? Go ahead,
There's-
sir. I'm not trying to put you in a bad
No, I
place.
know it.
You said something.
There were
so you can't,
reports,
like-
is that fair to say?
No, there was concerns that there might be reports. But it never turned out. I have to say that they never came to fruition when I was chairman. But there was concerns, I believe,
Of what?
that there were going to be problems at night. So I don't know whether it's the same group having the, it's a private, I believe it's a private party, I'm not sure. At least it was when I was chairman.
How many years ago was that?
I mean, I don't know.
And you're tough, let me tell
No,
you.
I mean. you
It's
know.
been a while. It's
Okay,
because you've been
so-
chairman 3,
Yeah.
4, 5 years, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, since I have it, it's similar to the dilemma that police forces face. They can't go out there and proactively enforce the law, they have to react.
Well, that was the concern as to whether to put an officer in there,
Yeah.
that to make it a condition of their license to have an officer.
Maybe if we hear complaints after this, we'll think about it next.
I don't think we're giving anything up in terms of enforcement.
No. Hey.
Well,
The board is under deliberation.
I think
I
we
would
missed
move to
something.
approve the licenses. We haven't had any complaints in years.
right, I would second that, based on that.
Motion's been made and
They
seconded.
tend to police themselves.
To approve the live entertainment licenses for the 5 businesses that have come forward, all paid their fees. Any further discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it'll be a hot time in the old town tonight. Or many nights, maybe.
That is a private club, though, is it not?
Yeah.
So just,
It's a private.
yeah.
Okay, so these will be passed around for signatures. They're heading over towards Doug. In the meantime, if we could turn back to Mr. Cawley and the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency, or MEMA. And
That is a document for Irene, Hurricane Irene,
right?
category A. Category A is a time where we're dealing with taking debris out of the way of the street. It's not the whole event, it's only one of several different categories per event. And Irene, this is section A, this will deal with clearing debris only from the streets. Now, Irene, don't get confused with October 29th, that has not been officially declared yet. This goes back to, I believe, August. I think total dollar amount was $3,800, and we're eligible for 75%, so we get just a little under $3,000, I believe. So that's ready to go. We sign that, we'll get the money into our coffers. We are applying for B, which is the police and fire and highway department doing protection measures. We got this $3,000 or $4,000 also. That'll come in independently. The big one on Irene is repairing all the dirt roads. We had several $1,000s, I think close to $16,000, $17,000 dirt roads that were damaged, and they're going to repair. Reimburse is 75% on that. And those items have not come forward yet, because these documents have been prepared and approved by FEMA before we get them like they are right there for A. There is an item in there for mitigation. Mitigation is areas that are a frequent problem, that have washed out or been damaged in previous years or previous events. And there's two, one at Conant Park, the dam, and another one on Brickyard Extension, a section of the dirt road that washed out near the big fishing dock. We're working on that. Okay. Not to confuse you with the October 29th event, that there, we have spent probably well over $250,000 right now.
On Irene or 29
On
October?
October 29th, just to give you a heads up on it. We will not be reimbursed for any of our labor unless it's overtime. So the first 72 hours where we used a lot of overtime, we get reimbursed on 75 cents on a dollar. Our day-to-day labor that is budgeted in our budget will not be reimbursed one nickel. That's just the way it's never been and won't be. So we have to eat all that. The next item that they'll reimburse us will be material I used to fight the storm part, the snow part, the salt and sand, and any material we used, if I could justify and prove it, and they agree to it, that'll be reimbursed 75 cents on a dollar. All the fuel that we use won't be reimbursed. It will be reimbursed on the equipment used by hour. And we have several $1,000s in that first 72 hours. That will be reimbursed. And that will be called A when it comes to that. B is the same thing. It's police and fire and preparatory things. It's not a big dollar amount. The next big dollar amount will be debris removal. And I'm sure you've been reading in the papers, there's a lot of towns are being told that how much debris was public way and how much was coming in from the public. The public, we're not being reimbursed for anything to do with the public. How they're going to figure it out, I don't know. But I do know that we have good records of what we've had there before during the 72 hours and what we have picked up and not disposed of, but stockpiled. I've been very tight about overspending money that we don't have. We've been using, since the end of second week of November, we stopped using any contractors. We used our own forces from that point on because there was a question if we're going to get reimbursed or not, whether we tripped the threshold needed to declare a state of emergency. The president did declare the first 72 hours a state of emergency. So that part will function. The last part, we tripped all the thresholds for Hampshire County. I think 3 times the thresholds was tripped. So, we expect something has been submitted to the president. Will be, news will be forthcoming. I do anticipate it coming through. But just to let you know that there are a lot of costs that we're not going to get reimbursed for. Labor is a big one. A percentage of the stockpile material we're not going to be reimbursed for because there's a lot of stuff that you know, we're just not going to get reimbursed for it because it's considered private property. And hopefully we can negotiate a number down that's acceptable. And then there will be some mitigation work out of this. We did have some minor road damage work, so we did get compensated for that too.
Mhm.
But when it comes down to dealing with the money when it comes in, it was several months for this, it's going to be several months for this, the second one too. So don't be surprised. We have deficit spending going on in winter roads and also in general highway. General highway is going to have some big negative numbers. But you know that was coming.
Do you have a sense of, on the balancing side of that, we haven't had much snow, obviously, except for October 29th.
Well, I can remember about 5 years ago, Mike and I were going to a finance committee meeting. We had $40,000 of money left over for salt, and we decided they wanted to use it for something else, and Mike was very adamant that we don't use it. And then we got hit with 5 or 6 snowstorms right in a row.
True.
We ate it right out. And
We bought the sand and salt with the money, and
Yeah.
we anticipated buying the sand and salt and storing it until the following year. I think it was gone we used it up that year, it was gone within a month.
Oh, absolutely, I was just curious to know.
Don't get excited because December didn't have any snow. Remember, we had 20-something inches in October we had to deal with. And
Just always looking for the bright side.
Do you have any sense of how much your negative numbers might be? I mean, hundreds of thousands?
no, I don't think it's hundreds of thousands because we're using a lot of highway money that was used to bring the roads back in shape and opening them up. That was going to be used for repairs. But right now, I would say we're close to $50,000 from general highway, and we use about $35,000 in winter road money already.
So what we should be looking at is the free cash is,
Yes, we don't have to worry about doing that until the end of the year.
no, I know, but I'm just saying, mentally, we should be tucking $50,000 or $75,000 of free cash.
And we had this discussion several weeks ago that, and I told them when that number was declared, you better put 50, 60,000 away.
Right.
Okay?
So our 300 is now 100 or 200.
Yeah, we talked about
We're not done
100,
yet, like, we're still, I'm holding back. I mean, I got a bunch of hangers out there, maybe 1,000 hangers out there.
Oh, God, yes.
I gotta rent a truck, but right now I'm just trying to be frugal because I don't have all this money.
No, I'm just saying, but we should put, they're talking about 300,000, we should be thinking 100 of it's gone at least, and we're talking about putting money into the capital stabilization accounts, so it's easy to see that 300 is a nice number, but it's not enough.
Yeah. I'd say when we get all the money in from the state and the feds, we're still going to be looking at a deficit.
Yeah.
A negative number of $67,000.
Right.
Now,
67,000.
60 to 70.
60
Yeah,
to 70.
60 to 70.
But
Because I've still got several weeks of debris was still picking up.
right, oh yeah, but I'm saying, and I respect your estimate of 60 to 70,000, but I'd feel better putting 100 away, knowing that if you run into situations or someone else runs into a situation, we've got you covered.
Well, it's a suggestion. My suggestion is, if you're dealing with free cash, don't lock it away when you need 2/3 vote to get it out.
No.
But, put it into maybe reserves or
Right.
some area where you get your hands on it. But you maybe not have to put 70 in here or 100, but, put some, maybe 50,000 away.
Right, but somewhere along the line, you may think FEMA's going to come through and,
It could be next year.
right, so we may have to fund this out of our budget this
I mean,
time.
you're still calculating the tornado in June,
Right.
and that was in Springfield.
So when it comes time to spend that free cash, I think we've got to be very frugal with it.
So we can't carry a deficit forward into fiscal year 13 then?
You can't.
Yes, you can.
So
What it is that the money that's dedicated for 2013 has to take care of the deficit first before you can allocate the
Okay,
budget.
so there's that paper maneuver.
Yeah.
Okay, so worst comes to worst. Okay, well, thanks, Ed. Wow. Okay, so then we need to authorize me to sign this.
So moved.
It's going to be, if you can make a vote that every time one of these contracts come in, because they're in contract form, that the chairman or another person can sign it, expedite it, because this money's sitting there, so it'll get turned over forever.
Sure.
Not a lot of money, but when the other ones come in, it might behoove you to just authorize somebody to sign it, so we don't have to do this every time.
Right, and I hate to
Unless you
say,
want to, it's fine, it's just gonna slow down.
no, plus there's about $3,000 worth of paperwork here too, when you look through it.
Yeah.
With the risk of
I
sounding
was just
cynical.
surprised when they came in, because I thought it was gonna be about $28,000, and they broke it down by categories, but they do that.
But just the worksheet, the checklist sheet,
You ever
here,
seen our paperwork that matches that up?
more than $3,000 worth of paperwork.
Oh, for that, yeah? Yeah, we, just that alone, had about 6 or 7 meetings with FEMA in my office. And Joyce signed my time, Foreman signs. Then they interview and verify the payrolls, and the worksheets and the contractors. So there's a lot of work there.
Well done, Ed, well done. I appreciate your patience with those agencies. I want to pass it over, let's see, Ed, let's go into signatures. Thank you, Lynn.
I like that shirt, Ed.
Shouldn't we be making a motion for the chairman of the Board of Selectmen or his designee to sign any of these small ones coming in? Like he just said?
So moved.
Second?
In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, the next action item is to review and adopt the uniform timesheets and policy, which we have here. And Reggie, I believe you were working on putting this together?
Actually, the policy board
Okay.
were the ones who recommended. It's on the second page.
Yep, I see that. So this is the template attached for our review and comments. Example. You have it separately. Okay, so, looks good to me, just, I've seen this before.
This is just an effort to unify everything. Everybody, or not everybody, some departments use their own, and we don't have a standard form that everybody is submitting and signing. So this is the PQB's effort to
Make it uniform.
make it uniform.
Make
Thank
it
you.
uniform.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion?
None.
Those in favor of approving the uniform timesheets and cover,
Aye.
signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye, and could we,
Can I add one thing?
yeah,
Also, part of the DOR recommendation and the auditor's recommendation was to have those timesheets submitted at one location.
well, I was going to go through and say that from our office, it should come out with a directive to all department heads that these are to be, there is no choice, these are to be the timesheets they're used, and they're to be submitted to, where
When
would,
they submit it with their cover sheet to the accounting office, to the treasurer's office.
both?
Yes. It's one document that'll go, it'll end up in the treasurer's office.
Okay, so that would be, one, we send out a directive that this is to be there is no choice in the matter,
Right.
and
It's official.
and it's to go to the, wherever.
This excludes elected officials, but it does include their appointees, their direct reports who are our appointees.
Yes.
Okay.
And if I may request just one thing, if there's any changes to be made, whoever makes the changes notifies the department heads prior to making those changes.
Yeah, on the cover letter, we send that. Okay, so we need then, do we need a motion for those changes? For that cover letter?
So moved.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. So you can do that, Reggie, in the cover letter that goes out with this approval. Okay, so we are now down to new town hall updates. Custodial, any news?
Nothing
Still
new.
pitching, recycling ourselves. Security,
Nothing new at this time.
punch list.
Nothing new.
I did see some email traffic about the door out here.
I think they're mistaken the front door with this door.
Okay.
And Pell is supposed to come here to replace the panel on this door and replace the weather stripping on the council and aging door.
How's the front door?
That one's still,
But
For repairs, okay.
we're still holding money, right?
yes.
Senior center?
That one's all set with the exception of the hot water in the bathroom, and that's still a work in progress.
Meaning there's no hot water there yet.
Correct, correct.
Otherwise, are people satisfied with what's happened?
Did that new sink go in?
Not yet. I'm working with Pat Roberts with the
Yep.
specs.
Okay, very good.
So there will be a hand washing?
Oh, yes. Mhm.
Okay, and then we have the open house, which I believe we had suggested for next Memorial Day. We thought there'd be folks down.
Anniversary. Coincidental with the 10th anniversary.
Well, no sense wasting time, right? It's a good New England policy. Building use policy, the final has been drafted. It's in our packet for take-home and review.
I didn't put it on your table, but I will.
Right. Emergency management fine, special town meeting, we need to post that warrant by the 17th, and we do have one more meeting coming up on the 10th prior to that, at which point we'll need to review.
I have a draft as
Okay.
well for your review.
Okay?
You have one now, or we will have one
I
then?
do have
Oh.
one. It's not finalized. I
Oh,
don't have
okay.
everything, but it's a start.
Okay.
Do we have many articles come in?
No.
Oh, okay. Just curious.
Well, that Pat Cantor email that I was referencing earlier, that's the article, one of the articles that has to do with a bond issue with respect to the debris fields. And she had reviewed that article language.
I think approved it.
Got that taken care of?
Yes.
This is the
This is the building-
draft warrant. This,
That's the draft building use policy.
oh, and the draft town hall use policy.
Well, these are warrants coming back to you. This is building use, this is building.
I gave you one.
Yep.
No, I
Those
didn't.
are extras going
Oh,
there.
must be for
I gave you.
That's mine.
One of each. Okay, so anything further on the town meeting warrant, the special town meeting? So we'll have one meeting before that. Budget departments will be meeting with finance committee starting January 17th. And they put out a schedule, which
Yes.
Reggie forwarded on to us. And that is what we have with the exception of open time for the public. Anybody from the public care to bring up any items? Mr. Sacco?
Evening, everyone. There's some discussion about the non-binding referendum on the rail trail. Is that on this special warrant?
No. No. Okay. Anything else? If not, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.